20 people per minute are physically abused. Domestic violence is an epidemic. Domestic violence consists of verbal, financial, sexual, or psychological abuse. These tactics are used in order to gain control over another individual. It can cause anxiety, depression, or even helplessness. Children who witness domestic violence, their mental health, and even their well being are affected. Since COVID, there has been a rise in domestic violence. There has been an increase of 25 to 35% since 2020, and that has affected worldwide. 25% women have experienced domestic violence. 35% women have physical injuries. 54% of the LGBTQ community have experienced domestic violence. More than 30% of Virginia homicides are domestic violence related, and even though the population of Virginia are 51% women, 63% of those people that are killed by guns and domestic violence homicides are women. I have Miss Jess, a domestic violence survivor, who will share about her experience on March 27, 2006. This incident occurred in North Romney Street, Charleston, South Carolina. There was a live mixture thrown at her and her family. Miss Jess, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Orisha Jess.
Miss Jess, thank you for cooperating with us this evening. Now, the incident, looking at the information, who were with you, and what was your age at the time of the incident?
I was 4 years old, and my mother and two of my brothers were with me.
Okay, and what actually happened to you?
So what actually happened to me was that I was hit with a bucket of lye.
Okay, and so with this lye, did you receive second and third degree burns on your face?
Yes, ma'am.
And where else did you receive contact?
On my thumb, my right thumb, and my eyes, and some of my hair.
Okay. What would you say are some lasting effects of this particular incident?
Of course, the scars of everything, and just I don't know, PTSD.
Okay. So you did mention earlier, before, that you have flashbacks.
Yes, I do have flashbacks, but it's mostly like I wouldn't call them. It happens when I'm sleeping, so like I wouldn't call them a nightmare because it's just not a nightmare for me, and I wouldn't call it a dream, but it's more of like flashbacks of how everything kind of went. So from that morning to where after the incident to where I was in the ambulance.
Do you remember, like, is it like vivid pictures of the incident, then the ambulance, and then the treatment at home?
I don't remember. What I do remember is that morning of how everything was happening before we went outside, and then when we went outside, and then how everything happened, and then it does go from like when we got help from neighbors. It went blank from when we got help to the neighbors to the ambulance, and I do remember coming home, but then after that, I don't remember anything else.
Okay. Well, we do apologize for the emotional and physical scars from this incident. Would you say that it may have made you less or more aggressive in your nature?
It has made me more aggressive in a way because I feel like I always have to be on go. Because in that moment, even when I was 4 years old, I don't feel like I was on go. So now, just when I was growing up as a kid, I always felt like I had to be mean or I had to be aggressive or more assertive because I wasn't on go when I was 4 years old.
Okay. You also mentioned that your emotions were more negative. What does that mean?
So, like, after that whole incident, I guess it just made me more of a, I wouldn't say a mean child or a bad child. It's just, I always looked at things in a negative aspect more than positive because after that whole scene of everything, I just felt like, okay, well, this happened to me. I guess everything else in life is going to be bad that happens to me. So I might as well be a bad child.
So would you say you had a lot of anger?
Yeah, a lot of anger because I didn't have answers to questions. I didn't know what questions to ask to get answers. And I was a child, so
Okay. Did you receive any kind of counseling or therapy?
I did receive counseling. We had in-home counselors. You know, they'll come to the house, take us out, try to talk to us, and then bring us back home. So it's been a couple hours with them on a couple of days of the week. And then I would sit down counsel when I went to her office, but I don't feel like that really worked because I didn't feel like she was listening to me. It kind of felt more of like I was there, she was there, but she was just zoning out, wasn't really communicating back to me, if that makes sense, even though I'm supposed to be talking. But I don't feel like she gave like any listening signs either.
Mm. Okay, so this incident happened when you were 4, and how old are you right now, if you don't mind me asking?
20.
So what do you do right now? What are you doing?
Raymond.
Are you a student?
Oh, yes, I'm a student and I'm a worker.
Okay, so you attend college,
Yes, ma'am.
and so do you feel like domestic violence, this incident, has pushed you to continue your education? Has it manifested any in your education?
I don't feel like this incident kind of went into my education route because if I wanted that to be a part of my education route, I feel like I'd be more of a detective on the scene type of thing and try to figure out answers more than trying to like, you know, always ask questions and not have the answer. But I kind of went the forensic and chemistry route, if that makes sense. But now that I think about it, the lye does have some type of compound to make you burn, so could look into that. But to answer that question, no, that has nothing to do with my education route.
Okay. Do you have any advice or anything you would like to tell anyone who has also experienced or even witnessed domestic violence as a child?
I would say talk to someone. It might not be the best. Well, it's not ever the best to hold some things in, especially when you went through an incident like this. And to not make your past your future or your present, because you can't always live in the past. So.
Okay. Well, Ms. Jess, we do appreciate your time, and we thank you very much for speaking to us today.
You're welcome.
Resources for you to get assistance. In the state of Virginia, you can contact the YWCA of Richmond. You can contact the Virginia Department of Social Services. You can even contact Virginia statewide hotline by phone 800-838-8238 or by text 804-793-9999, or you can contact National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 1-800-799-7233.